Oh, what's up, y'all? How's everybody doing? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Carving It Up Live right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and on Twitter. As always, I'm Bryson Carver, and I'm feeling mighty fine about myself right now, I must say. Because, earlier this season, the notion was that the Green Bay Packers would be competing for Super Bowls. I said, hang on a minute. This is a limited defense. It is a quarterback we know in the biggest of games does not always play his best. It is a coach that in the biggest games tends to get a little scared of the moment, if it's fair to say that. It is a wide receiving unit that is limited, to say the very least. And overall, it is a team that even in the weak NFC was not then and is not now good enough to get into the postseason. So this is for you, Packers fans. I had to bring this baby back out. You didn't think I'd ever be wearing this again, did you? Oh, all right. But we do have a good show on tap for you guys tonight. I'm going to have to eat a little bit of crow from my man Dak Prescott. I will give Dak some pointers and how to end this little dry spell he's dealing with right now. Last Go Pack Go right there. Also discuss the Jacksonville Jaguars getting to the postseason with a big win over the Tennessee Titans. We will discuss Lovie Smith getting fired, Cliff Kingsbury getting fired. Who knows? Sean McVay might resign soon. There's some rumors of that coming through from some of the best sources in the NFL. And at the end of today's show, I will predict tonight's college football national championship game. It comes down to these two. The TCU Horned Frogs, the darlings, the Cinderellas of college football, and the defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs, who will look for back-to-back titles. Chloe is not appreciative of this. It certainly appears that is not the case. Chloe is in the comments. She doesn't like that. That's all right, Chloe. It's all right. And Patrick Brown, what's up, Patrick? He says, kneecap sound bite on deck. Make no mistake about it, Patrick. It is coming. I will get to those Detroit Lions because they deserve all the credit in the world for what they did last night and all season long. But I got to start the show today. The Green Bay Packers lost last night by a final score of 20-16 against the Detroit Lions. So there's a lot of things to discuss and to look at with this game. There's a lot of variables that played into it. There were turnovers. There were miscues by both teams. There were coaching decisions by both teams that were questionable. It was obviously Lambeau in January, freezing cold. And overall, it was a night that, I don't know, it got me to thinking, and it just makes me want to say,
Kneecap.
A lot of kneecaps were bitten in Green Bay last night by the Detroit Lions. But ultimately, the Packers collapsed at the end. A lot of blame to go around. Fairly so. But it starts with one man and one man in particular. And that is Aaron Rodgers. So I said I had the audacity to come on this show and dare question that the Packers' 4-game winning streak to this point, not much of it had to do with Aaron Rodgers' play. I gave him props for his leadership in this streak. Very positive outlook, loose. I think helped his teammates a lot. But in this 4-game winning streak, which, by the way, was against the Bears, who have the number 1 pick. They can thank the Houston Texans for that. The Rams, who won 5 games. The Vikings, who have a negative point differential despite being 12-4. By the way, and the Dolphins sandwiched in there. And we know Miami got in the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. But Aaron Rodgers, in this winning streak, against the Bears, he had a QBR of 50. That's not bad, right down the middle, bad average. Against the Rams, he had a QBR of 37. Against the against the Miami Dolphins, he had a QBR of 30. And against the Minnesota Vikings, in which the Packers scored 41 points, Aaron Rodgers had a QBR of 42. This winning streak had very little to do with the great Aaron Rodgers. He's more of a game manager type role. Like Tom Brady, we are seeing the decline with Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have the arm he used to, not as accurate, doesn't move quite as well in the pocket as we're accustomed to seeing him do so. But when you look at it all in all, last night came down to him. Because I said on this show, and I made a stupid mistake. It was a mistake I did not make last year, by the way, but I made it this year. Maybe because, dare I say, hey, it was still the regular season. I mean, it was technically a playoff game for Green Bay, but it goes in the books as a regular season game. Apparently, somebody didn't tell Aaron that. Aaron must have went into that game in Lambeau last night assuming it was a playoff game, because that's about how he played. Like Aaron tends to play in playoff games, especially the biggest ones, NFC title games, etc. But when I looked at Aaron Rodgers' performance last night, how many breaks did that man get? How many breaks did that man get? Detroit, one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL, was held to 20 points. Okay? Aaron threw a terrible interception in the third quarter. It got called back due to penalty. There were decisions clock management-wise made by Dan Campbell that made you question whether or not he's capable of being an NFL head coach. Aaron Rodgers, for the record last night, got big plays in the receiving game from Christian Watson, got over 100 yards on the ground by his running backs led by Aaron Jones. And all in all, Matt LaFleur wasn't a huge reason the Packers lost, which tends to be the case in some of their biggest losses in the last 4 years since LaFleur took over. Not to mention he was at home against a dome team. And he managed to put up 16 points, and his last pass possibly ever at historic Lambeau Field was a pick. Aaron Rodgers last week did a little bit of a victory lap. Talked about everybody counted us out when we were 4-8. Said we need to tank or whatever. Well, look at us now. Not in yet. Last I checked, I didn't see Green Bay Packers clinch 7 seed going into Week 18. Didn't see that headline. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. But this falls on him. Aaron Rodgers this season, the back-to-back MVP the last 2 years, a 4-time MVP overall, did not have a 300-yard passing game this season. He has not had a 300-yard passing game since Week 14 of last year. And consistently, in the biggest of moments when you need the great Aaron Rodgers, one of the 10 best to ever do it, arguably the most talented we've ever seen do it, when you needed him to be at his very best, he wasn't. And he hasn't been the last 3 years. All of them at Lambeau Field. Fourth quarter against Tampa Bay, it's close. Tampa Bay gets out to an early lead, but the GOAT, Tom Brady, unravels in the second half. Throws some bad interceptions. He seems uncomfortable, a little gun-shy in the pocket, dare I say. Aaron's defense gets him 3 takeaways in the second half. They go into the fourth quarter in a 1-score game at home in Lambeau Field as the number 1 seed with Aaron Rodgers as the league MVP. Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter against Tampa Bay threw for 54 yards. No touchdowns. Packers lost because he was not able to convert in the red zone with an opportunity to tie the game. The next year, you're like, oh, well, it's because he ran to Tom Brady. You know, it's a fair excuse. I mean, heck, Patrick Mahomes lost a home game to Tom Brady in the playoffs. He's the best quarterback in the league. It happens to the best of us. Tom Brady, for crying out loud. Okay, that's fine. Well, he wins the league MVP again last year. Gets the number 1 seed again, just like the year prior. Gets a home game against Jimmy Garoppolo. The 49ers offense, not special teams total, the offense put up 2 field goals. The Niners did. So the Packers defense against Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Elijah Mitchell at running back, one of the best offensive lines in the league. The Packers shut that offense down to 6 points, got a red zone takeaway, everything. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers scored 13 points in that game total and threw for 17 yards in the fourth quarter. And then last night, you go into the fourth quarter with the lead against a bad defense when your defense is balling out. Aaron Rodgers threw for 12 yards last night in the fourth quarter. 12 yards. And on third down and 10, with an opportunity to hit Robert Tonyan in the flat, who would have possibly been open for a first down, he tries an impossible shot down the field to Christian Watson, who was double-teamed, and it got intercepted. And the Lions, due to some gutsy play calling by Dan Campbell, bled the clock out. So, with all the drama surrounding the Packers in the last year, or I should say the extra drama, because there's always drama every year with the Packers involving number 12. The ayahuasca, holding out to get the biggest contract in NFL history. Having rookie receivers come into your organization and not working out with them. Not building a rapport with them before the season begins. Demanding they keep Randall Cobb, which they do. Basically scaring Devontae Adams out of the organization because you talk about retirement every chance you get. Starting 3-1, then getting into a dry spell where you go down to 4-8. Say, we're not done, which I love the attitude, by the way. You're not done. You weren't mathematically eliminated. To win 4 straight games and then to do a victory lap as if you've not only gotten the playoffs, but you won a playoff game. First of all, Aaron, you had yet to get in yet. And to put that performance last night against the Detroit Lions, who are one of the worst defenses in the NFL, pass-wise. In the pass defense, they're awful. Aaron Rodgers last night at Lambeau Field, 17 for 27, 205 yards, a touchdown, a pick, a QBR of 38, and a passer rating of 83. He was an average quarterback, which at this stage in his career, are we sure that's not who he is? At this stage, not all time. Aaron Rodgers is going to go in the Hall of Fame one day, deservedly so. In my opinion, he's just outside of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks to ever play the game. We've never seen anybody like Aaron Rodgers. But what separates him from the Bradys and the Montanas and the Mannings and the Marinos, those guys in the offseason put the time in season are the conscience and the heartbeat of their franchises. That has not and never will be Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Brown, it's time to show love for Jordan. It's good there. Aaron's tenure is over in Green Bay. It's time to move on. Grady says, maybe, but I wouldn't be too quick to move on from Aaron. You don't know if Jordan's that guy. I personally run it back one more year with Rodgers, and I think him and Green Bay have one more contending year left in them. But here's my thing about that, Grady. Here's the only thing. When they were 4-8, they could have played Jordan. And I said on the show, check the tape, when they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles to fall to 4-8, I said, this is great news for the Green Bay Packers. Rodgers is beat up. He's your best asset. Obviously, he's Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the best assets in the league. The contract isn't great, but overall, he's one of the best assets. See what Jordan Love's got. If he's good, great. We've got our quarterback for the future. We can trade Aaron and build around a rookie quarterback. Or sorry, not a rookie quarterback, but a quarterback on a rookie deal who's not making a whole lot of money. We can build around him. If he's not good, we either run it back with Aaron next year, or we trade both him and Jordan Love and draft a quarterback. Now, they have no idea what they're going to do. They're stuck. Packers screwed this one up, man. But, yes, Green Bay is out of playoff contention. For their sake, at least we don't get to see them getting destroyed by the San Francisco 49ers. That'll be the Seattle Seahawks. Congrats to the Seahawks for getting in the playoffs, by the way, but they're not beating San Francisco. And so for Green Bay, you're out. See y'all next year. See what you do. And get that garbage out of here. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube. Be sure to click that big red subscribe button and go check out the other clips and full shows of Carving It Up Live. Have a blessed day.